Shane Steichen doing what he has to do every Monday after Joe Flacco plays football. He has to stand, or I guess sit. He has to sit down at the podium and explain once again that Anthony Richardson is this team's starting quarterback.
Yeah, again, with obviously Flacco's a really good player, been playing good ball for us. But when Anthony's healthy, he's our quarterback.
When Anthony's healthy, Anthony Richardson, AR5, whatever you want to call him, when that guy's healthy, he is the Colts starting quarterback, according to Colts head coach Shane Steichen right there. Yeah, I got to be honest. I don't really know if I believe him. Okay. Actually, yeah, I do. And Anthony Richardson has to be the starter. Okay. You don't spend the 4th overall pick on a guy and then not play him. Okay. And I believe that if Anthony Richardson's 100% healthy on Sunday, he will start. But with that being said, I don't think that Shane Steichen wants Anthony Richardson to be 100% healthy. And I don't think that some of these receivers want him to be 100% healthy either. I think that the players on this offense like it or prefer it when Joe Flacco's out there. Okay, like it has to be incredibly annoying for Shane Steichen to dial up the perfect play call on 3rd and 3 just to watch Anthony Richardson sail the ball out of bounds. Okay, it's got to be incredibly frustrating for Josh Downs or Michael Pittman Jr. or any one of these guys to get open just for Anthony Richardson to sail the ball over their head. Okay, like I fully understand why Shane Steichen and some of these receivers, probably every receiver not named Alec Pierce, like I would understand if one of them came out and was like, nah, I think I kind of prefer it when Joe Flacco plays. Like that just, like that would make sense to me. That would be understandable. Okay, but I think the guy is Anthony Richardson, according to Shane Steichen, what he said right there. Even though Joe Flacco, as of right now, is the better quarterback, which isn't saying much. Okay, he's 1-1 with a loss to Jacksonville, right? And it's like, oh, but Joe Flacco was great in that game. He lost. Who cares? And then, the game that he did win against the Titans, he didn't throw for 200 yards. Like with that being said, like there obviously has been some good. He's thrown 7 touchdown passes, only 1 interception on the year. He hasn't been the turnover machine that he was in Cleveland last year through 2.5 games, which is not the biggest sample size. Okay, as of right now, like he's probably better than Anthony Richardson. And that's why the Colts held Richardson out on Sunday. I'm assuming Anthony Richardson was at like 90%. He undoubtedly could have played. We heard what he said last week on Wednesday about how he could do everything he needed to do to run the offense. And then 4 days later, the Colts were like, no. Okay. The Colts knew, Shane Steichen knew, that their chances of winning with Flacco were better than if they played with Richardson. And that resulted in them playing Joe Flacco instead. This week, I don't think it matters who they play at quarterback. That's how bad this Dolphins team is. Okay, as long as the Colts don't turn the ball over 4 times, they should win. Okay, so we're going to see Anthony Richardson on Sunday. If he conveniently has another setback, then I think everyone's antenna that isn't already up is going to go up. Okay? With that being said, the Colts should have played Anthony Richardson on Sunday, and he should be the starter going forward. But Jonathan, you said that Joe Flacco's better than Anthony Richardson. I know what I said. Okay? I enjoy lifting weights. There's nothing better than going to the gym, sweating like crazy, throwing heavy weight around. Right? Like there's just something about it. That's just fun. Like getting the calluses on your hands. I enjoy it. It's a good time. But if you talk to anyone who has consistently lifted weights or tried to lose weight like I am right now, like you'll know that it takes a while to see results. Okay, like I've been on this weight loss journey and it's hard. It's not fun. It's a lot of eating correctly. It's a lot of being like, hey, John, like last night I was at my in-laws' house. Hey, Jonathan, do you want ice cream? And I had to say no because it was too late at night for me to eat ice cream. It's not fun. It's filled with doing stuff like that, working out, and just things that aren't fun, right? And then sometimes, like this morning, I thought I was going to wake up this morning and weigh like 172 pounds, which is the lightest I would have been in a long time. And I didn't. I weighed 174 pounds. I put on like half a pound yesterday. Right. And so like sometimes you do this process and you feel like you're doing everything right. And then you wake up and you're like, oh, the result isn't here yet. It's not. And like that's the way that this works sometimes. Like, and I saw my mom go through the same thing. She lost like 60 pounds in a year. And I, suffered through that because, we ate what she ate and it was always super healthy. And I remember it. And it's a long process filled with moments that are not fun. Okay. That's just the way that it is. Here's the thing though. Even though, losing weight is hard, and even though it's a long process filled with ups and downs, everyone that knows me and cares about me would encourage me to go through this long, hard process of eating properly and exercising. People that know me and care about me would encourage me to do that rather than, take steroids, right? If I wanted to, I could take steroids and get lean and fit incredibly fast. There's some steroids out there, 3 weeks. They can apparently, I did research on this last night. There are apparently some steroids out there that they can get you your desired goals in 3 weeks. That's way easier. That is a way shorter amount of time than working for months and months to get to whatever your goal weight is. Mine, 160 pounds. I want to weigh 160 pounds because that's what I weighed when I was in college and I played baseball. Okay. And I could take that steroid, be there in 3 weeks, boom, bada bing, I'm good. I look great. It'd be awesome. But the better thing for me in the long run is to work out and to lose the weight on my own without the steroids. You're probably like, Jonathan, why are you talking about steroids? Because it feels like we are encouraging the Colts to take steroids. Sitting and watching a young quarterback develop is not fun. I've been over this before. Okay, I'm not going to do the whole thing again, but it's not fun watching Anthony Richardson make mistakes. Just like how it wasn't fun watching Peyton Manning throw all those interceptions his rookie year. But it is required. And the Colts were better off putting Peyton Manning through that, and the Colts will be better off letting Anthony Richardson play. Here's the thing about taking steroids, and outside of the health issues that they can cause, the other issue with them is that you hit your goal in 3 weeks. And once you're at your goal, you have to know how to maintain that weight. And you learn how to do that while you're in the process of losing the weight. Okay, it's the same thing with Anthony Richardson. If he sits behind Joe Flacco for the rest of the year, he's not going to get that much better. People want Anthony Richardson to be great, but the only way that happens is if he plays. Either way, we have to go through this experience of having a young quarterback. No matter what the Colts do this year, 2 things are going to happen. 1, Joe Flacco is going to turn 40. That's going to happen, and he's going to retire sooner rather than later. Wouldn't be surprising if he retired at the end of this year. Secondly, the Colts are going to play Anthony Richardson because at some point they have to figure out whether or not he can be their franchise quarterback. And while practices during the week are cool, you're not learning much about him. You're just not. Both of those things, Joe Flacco retiring and Anthony Richardson being played, like both of those things are inevitable. And the last thing that the Colts need to do is procrastinate playing Anthony Richardson. I remember when I was in college, I'll never forget. Hey, Jonathan, we have a 12-page paper due in 2 weeks. Sounds great, professor. Sounds fantastic. 13 days later, crap, I haven't written a word of this paper. Let me go to the gas station. Let me buy some energy drinks. Let me skip all my classes today, and let's figure out what the heck I'm writing about. Okay? That's happened to a lot of people. Maybe you have kids, and maybe one night you were hanging out. You sent your, 4th grader off to bed, and it was 10 p.m. and he comes out of his room and he's like, "Hey, mom," or "Hey, dad, I need a poster board, glue sticks, and paper because I have to turn in a poster tomorrow on dinosaurs." Right? And that's not fun for you because all of a sudden you're scrambling and you don't really know what's going on. That is the last thing that the Colts need to have happen with Anthony Richardson. They can't continue pushing off playing him. Okay? Not this offseason, but next. Anthony Richardson will be eligible, for an extension. The Colts need to have seen as much of Anthony Richardson as possible before that happens. There are 28 regular season games until Anthony Richardson becomes eligible for that extension. Okay, only 28 games. That's really not that many. That's the rest of this year and then the 17 games next year. He needs to play in all 28. Okay, that will give the Colts plenty of opportunity to see him play quarterback, and it will give Anthony Richardson plenty of opportunity to show progress, to show that he's improving as an NFL quarterback. Okay? Because those two things have to happen at some point. And the last thing that we want is for Chris Ballard to do this evaluation and not have enough information to go off of when it comes time to potentially extend Anthony Richardson. Okay? Because I know who Chris Ballard is. You know who Chris Ballard is. I know how much these quarterback contracts are going for, and so do you. Okay? The last thing we want as Colts fans is for Chris Ballard to have an opportunity to extend Anthony Richardson without fully knowing who he is as a quarterback. Okay? Because if that happens, Chris Ballard will sign him to a huge extension because quarterbacks only get huge extensions. And as we know, Chris Ballard likes to re-sign his own guys if he can. Okay? And if he has an opportunity to re-sign the guy that he drafted number 4 overall, he's going to do that. Anthony Richardson needs to play in as many games as possible. He needs to take every snap the rest of the way. The fact that the Colts didn't play him against the Titans is ridiculous because for the betterment of the Colts long term, they need to figure out who Anthony Richardson is, if he's getting better, and whether or not they think he can improve to a point where he can be their franchise quarterback. That would be the best thing for them in the long run. Okay, not letting Joe Flacco run around and win maybe 10 games. Okay, you have to invest in your future at some point. And we as fans don't like it. I'm assuming that Michael Pittman Jr. and Josh Downs and Shane Steichen aren't the biggest fans of this either. But at some point, you have to invest in the future. That is important.